ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause for John Burkhardt?
Thank you, Slavica, appreciate that. I just realized, I don't know, did you guys hear me whispering backstage? I didn't say anything embarrassing, did I? I had no idea that was happening. I got my magic clicker, amazing. And, can we put the presentation back to the beginning? Instead of starting in the middle of a presentation, I thought this crazy idea of starting at the beginning. It's nuts, but you guys are special. And I'm going to do that for you. Okay. Going to have a little sip, make sure my fly is done. Cool. Guys, it's the last slot. I am preventing you from beer and frivolity. So there's no way you're just going to sit there. You're going to tell me how you feel at all times. How are you going to do that? Well, I got props, and I'm going to be passing them out when the appropriate time comes. We are talking about how to get and keep attention. It's this thing I call constant curiosity. I'm very excited because I know everyone in the room, you've chosen to work in marketing instead of being lawyers and doctors and like making proper money. So you must be curious people, and this is my crew. You are my people. Slavica met me at Spark Me, where Dave Burrs recommended me, and I love you guys. My name is John Burkhardt from TBC Global. TBC stands for whatever the hell you want it to stand for. Seriously, it could be the Burkhardt Consultancy to the tax man. It could be, wait for it, the Balkan Consultancy. Yet I haven't been paid yet to be here, so we're working on that. So let's cover a few little grounds and see if the clicker works. The clicker works, yes. Okay, guys, this is your problem, AllWeb MK 2017. You guys have switched off already because you have 4-second attention spans. How did I figure out that you had 4-second attention spans? Because the BBC 4 years ago said, on average, people have attention span of 6 to 8 seconds, like a goldfish. And I said, well, naturally, people, I think, get stupider and stupider because of these screens that you're like sitting there all day long with a screen. So what I'm thinking is you got 4-second attention spans and you've already switched off. This is what happens every minute online. That is 70,000 hours of Netflix, and crucially, the thing that bothers me the most is this little stat. I've been watching some of you people like subtly looking down, pretending like you're tweeting, and I know someone has found love, and they will be at the after party with you. Introduce us. So, it's painful, it's awkward. VR, Tinder VR is even more awkward. That's our problem. The customer problem is getting anyone's attention. That is the problem. But we got some business problems to handle as well. My daughter is 11, and when I come home at night, she's like, oh man, you're doing that job for that funeral home, that content marketing plan, like, let's talk about some of that rich, meaty content. Never, ever happened. We got to earn the right to have attention. No one's ever said that, and you know that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get a little personal with you because I don't know you from Adam. I know Dave. I love him. He's like one of my people, but I don't know you. So the most intimate moment I could share with any of you right now is the best moment of my life. The best moment of my life, I showed up at the church, and my wife was like, my about-to-be wife was like, why did you come in Del Boy's car to our wedding? And I think she selfishly, because people generally only think of themselves, just so you know that, was thinking, am I going to have to ride to the reception in that? And the answer was, hell yes. I have found out through being with you in Belgrade, when I say you, I mean the Balkans in general, which is a rough generalization, which I should never do. But in Belgrade, there was a lot of different Balkan nations represented. I think you guys are a little bit like Del Boy, and I freaking am too. I think today, you're like, I'm not going to do anything unless I have a big budget. You've never said that. You've got to think quick, think on your feet. It's about brains, not necessarily budget. So this is the Del Boy Guide to Content Marketing. I am very excited, but we got some serious points we got to cover as well. Rodney, hold on. Here we go. As I'm talking to the clicker to hope it works. Okay. I know that it's late and I'm preventing you from beer. I have swag to give away. I've got my newsjacking book, which I'll talk about, a damaged copy of my newsjacking book, Hacker, Maker, Teacher, Thief, and this hot off the press that is the only copy that exists, which is a football report about digital disruption in football. I know that not a lot of you are going to tweet and not a lot of you are going to Instagram, so I've come up with an interactive challenge later. If some of you surprise me and do find a time to do something on Instagram or Twitter, I will definitely be giving away copies of these books. Win the swag, but if not, there's an interactive exercise brand smack dab in the middle of this performance. Here we go. Let's get started. I gotta catch my breath. Come on. Come on, clicker. I love it when a clicker works. Okay, customer problem through the story of the saddest dog in the world. Who recognizes this dog? Someone recognize this dog, please. No? Okay. There is a brand. That brand is called Andrex. I heard an awe. Who was the awe from? So do you know the Andrex dog?
I think I know.
Okay, well, this is sad because you didn't stand up for him. He was in the throes of humiliation and you just sat there. What's your name? No, that's cruel. Scrunch or Fold. How many of you realize that Scrunch or Fold as a gamified experience in the subway should never have been a gamified experience in the subway? When I'm talking scrunching and folding, do I have to explain that, or do you get what I'm talking about? Okay, I think that's horrible. I'm even absolutely horrified that someone thought there was a debate going on there. The customer problem we have is a lot of us have on these marketing hats, and we basically say, we basically just don't think like human beings. We're just like in this office, we'd rather not be there, we're gonna take a long lunch break yet again, and we're not thinking like human beings. I say there was no debate. I say in the next 24 minutes, we're gonna have some debates about some proper stuff, and it's gonna be about constant curiosity, and I hope you feel inspired. Rodney and Del Boy are gonna tell you the business problem.
Well, that is where our future lies, Rodney. Second-hand motors. This time next year, we'll be millionaires.
No. We won't be. Because the problem is, it's this short-term thinking that one little campaign, one little second-hand motor swindle, or coming up with a water brand called Peckham Springs, is going to get us out of the shitter. It ain't. Look at the 10 most valuable companies. Do you see any patterns there? When I look at them, I see year 2000, and then I see year 2015. We got tech companies who are reinventing themselves. You know, Amazon alone basically said, we've got 2 days a year where everyone in America is like buying loads of shit they don't need, so we have to have all these server farms. Why don't we turn that into Amazon Web Services? So they became almost more known than from being a bookseller, which they used to be, into a seller of web services. We got people thinking with constant curiosity, and I'm going to talk to you about all the steps. Those little brands there are the only ones that made it past on the top list for those 15 years. These are the fastest growing companies. You'll recognize all of them, I am sure. And these are the ones I want to focus on if you'll give me some attention for the next little while. That is Netflix and Apple. I'd like for all of us to be thinking more like Netflix and Apple than our friends Andrex, Puppy Dog Scrunch and Folder. I genuinely believe we can do that in the next 22 minutes. The emotions we're going to have to tap into together when we do something cruel to Dave Burrs, which is one of our interactive exercises coming up. A lot of these motions we're going to have to dig into, but curiosity is a main one, and there's another one that I think we don't look at enough, and that is joy. These are all the emotions that go into quote-unquote shareable viral content, but I'm going to leave that for one more second. How many of you recognize this screen grab and have ever seen a carpool karaoke? That is all of you. You people, by and large, I think are affected by joy. I think you're actually human, and I think you think that there's some joy going on there. I want to see how we can get more of that going on. That's what fires me up. It really does. Carpool karaoke, thinking more like Apple. So here's what we're going to do. 172 million people love carpool karaoke. So what do? We call up this fat British dude, James Corden, and say, you got this thing going on. You're like this big hero that's on late night at midnight. We're going to pay you a ton of money, and we're going to put that into a series on Apple Music. I am a curious person. I'm going to get an Apple Music account just so I can look at carpool karaoke. Unfortunately, that's not Del Boy thinking, because if I was Del Boy thinking, I'd realize I could rip it off a bunch of torrents and streams and not have to pay an actual penny. Anyway, so carpool karaoke, Apple have taken that on, and this is another story of a brand thinking and reinventing. It's one of my favorite brand reinvention stories, and it's going to lead to what we do to Dave Burrs. South by Southwest. Anyone heard of it or ever been? Heard of it first, ever been second? Okay, that's roughly 6% of you. So it's where this little bird came along. This little bird is Twitter. It's where Twitter started. It's 40,000 people in Austin, Texas. I'm lucky enough to be on the board and have spoken there a lot. And I go there each year because of Grumpy Cat, obviously, because you get to see him and pet him and love him. But I also go for Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing. Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing have been going there for years, and Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing kill it. They are constantly curious. They're always looking for ways to use technology, content, and the live experience to blow your minds. How many of you know Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing? I could hear a pin drop. You're all just like dumbfounded. You guys use them every day in your work. You seriously do. You've let me down. Because there's a hint. Does that help? Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing are all over that picture of me in my workshops. Still clueless, right? 3M, they make Post-it notes. They used to be a manufacturing company, but at South by Southwest, they gather loads of people. You can't see me in the crowd because I'm like really freaking pale and I just blend into the whiteness. But this was a special moment. This moment, you probably don't know what's happening because I've cut it without showing you. This is 3M have this stethoscope, so they moved into kind of medical equipment. So they said, hey, DJ, amazing DJ that you are, can you do a set based on your heartbeat? So they rigged up her heart to the DJ board and blew people's minds with a set of music like a DJ does based on her heartbeat. They keep coming up with new things because they know that they've got to be constantly curious because something could shut down. Zuckerberg could change an algorithm. You know, something could go out of business. You got to always be looking for your next Del Boy gig. So All of this started for me by being pissed off at advertising, pissed off at marketing, thinking, do we really connect emotionally with anyone? We're coming up with all these ideas, they're getting killed in research, and we do lowest common denominator and end up putting out something like bland. So I was like, let's try to look at the people. Let's look and see what they're talking about. Fortunately, Twitter had come along, so I started putting brands on social media, and then they did this to me. Then people started dying, famous people. Look at this visual and tell me who you think died. Who did someone say Prince? Brilliant, thank you. We pass out. Okay, this is for you. That was almost to you. Could you pass that back to Prince? This is look at this, Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing. I'm sorry, guys, but you're an amazing company, constantly curious till the day is long, but you really screwed it up there. Yes, they're a Minnesota company, and Prince is from Minnesota, but that is like a big logo. Does anybody not see that as like 98% promotional? Yes, it has a tier, but that's kind of like my book said, it's kind of like hijacking in the worst sense. Now, these are the sins, as you can see, hijacking whatever is trending, hashtag sale, hashtag Clooney. That's the big sin. But I've probably committed all of those sins at one point, and I'm trying my best to stop that. So I want you to get your balls out right now. So I need a show of hands of someone who is willing to throw a ball on stage, but you need to be willing to do it with gusto, panache, and pizzazz. I'm going to just start throwing them because you look quiet. If you catch a ball, you have to throw it. Raise your hands if you actually want a ball. This is the interactive session. Oh, there's a guy on the front row. Basically, if you look really big, massive, and athletic, I'm probably going to avoid you because you're going to probably try to kill me. Actually, I won't because that will be rude. Okay, hands. Oh, look, people in the back. Anyone up front? I like these front people. Darko. Yeah, share that, man. Don't be selfish. Look, there's a whole row that's keen. I love you. I think that's a row of students. Anyone over here? Oh, yes. I can give you the suitcase, but I got to take my clothes back in it. I thought it was just the balls you wanted. Any more? Oh, there's one. Oh, sorry. And then blind kicking. This could hit you in the face. Oh, sorry, Slavica. This is the amazing woman I'm actually here because of, and I just basically belted her in the face. And then, bonus balls. How many of you, I got to this amazing country that I haven't visited in 16 years. A big poster greeted me, almost like, we understand you, John. There is a poster in the airport. I am sports mad. I talk about fan engagement. There is a poster. You guys are world champions of something. I don't know what, but I think you are. Can someone tell me? It's like red uniforms. Sorry, what is it called? Handball. Is it like, no, I know what handball is. I've actually just, who supports Varda? I don't have any handball balls. I don't even know what handball balls look like. One more. Oh, excellent. I have no idea what this is. Does someone recognize this? I don't know what it is. Evidently my country play it, but I think it's disgusting. Okay, where's my clicker? Oh, here we go. Okay, so here we go. Unfortunately, all of that print stuff came out as a result of my book. I think people may have not read it, but for my sins in helping create what is essentially a brand spam movement, I want you to get all that anger, all that angst, all that pent-up emotion and throw as hard as you possibly can at me, because newsjacking led to brand spamming It is time to ready, fire, aim. That's what brands do when they screw it all up. So what I want you to do, I want my lovely assistants Muniba and Pranvera from IBU to come up on stage. These girls go to IBU and they are finishing up. I've just met them, but I really like them. And they need jobs after they graduate. So their first job, paid gig, is to protect my privates. Which one do you think I need? Do you guys mind? I've got a proper job for you as well. But seriously, it would be great if you guys get a job out of this. So do you mind, like, Wimbledon, just, like, holding that? Maybe like a Wimbledon ball girl? Kind of like that. And then, no, just, and on the other side, we're going to have to go to right here on the dots. So if you guys hold that, and then bend over like a Wimbledon ball girl, like this. Pretend I'm you. And then if you hold the other side, yes, here we go. If you've got a ball, stand up now. Literally stand up now. I want it in the face. On the count of 3, and someone be slow motioning this and Instagram storying this. If you don't have a ball, have a camera, because yesterday in Slovenia, Porto Ros, lovely beach town, I couldn't breathe. Someone hit me in the face that hard. I pray to God that there's no handball players or water polo you're good at as well, basketball as well, everything to do with the hands. On the count of 3, for my sins in the brand spam movement, Muniba Pranvera, thank you. 1, 2, 3. No! Someone really got me. Good. Thank you so much. Do you guys mind passing the balls out back to people? Properly, they do need jobs. They do need jobs when they graduate. Ideally, they can do their master's and work for you. If you can just help pass the balls out, because I got to move on. There's a couple there as well. Okay. So the problem we got, whether that creates engaging content or not, it's our top challenge according to some surveys. Here, I'll kick this. I'm not going to kick this at you, Slavica. Oh, that is rich. Completely rich. Okay. So that's our top content, and this is Del Boy thinking, because I promise you, I don't get massive freaking big budgets in London either, because I don't work at an agency that pays mostly for a big fancy reception. And what I'm going to do is we're going to never, ever hear this phrase again. We've always done it that way. Thank you, Pranvera and Muniba from IBU. Now this is the future. This is everything I want you to understand and love about the jobs that you have in 4 gifts. I hope you're ready for this. Content marketing, it's about earning an audience, not just flogging stuff. It's about earning the right to build an audience by providing for their needs and then earning the right to sell stuff. This is content marketing success and failure in 4 epic gifts. So when you mess up, you're like that odd-shaped ball. This is the NFL. You basically leave a trail of the dead of the people because you had no empathy. Empathy is a topic we're going to discuss in the next 9 minutes. That's when you get it wrong. But then, when you figure it out, you then like mess up again. You think, oh, I've got all these fancy tools, and then the tools don't work, and you blame the tools. Well, guess what? You were the tool. Hootsuite, the social media platforms. If a lady says, oh, look, a ball's coming at me, and I try to catch it with a plate of nachos and a beer, you're gonna get messed up. Don't blame the tools. You're the tool. So, this is my future. My future is in call me on my cell phone. How many of you would be willing to do karaoke with me at the after party tonight and we just play Drake songs? Because this is like a video called Hotline Bling, and basically, essentially what the guy did, someone was like, I'm so sick of this video, but I love Nintendo Wii, so they just literally put the tennis racket in there, put it online, viral hit, proper. That is newsjacking. Everyone's talking about it. I put my own little personal touch on it. Everyone loves it. We can do this. A lot of you could have done that on your lunch break today. Instead, you were eating lots of ball-shaped food, which was good. I'm not knocking you, Darko. And this is when it's done right. I just want to sit down and go home now. When I feel loved and caressed on a carousel like that with a brand, I don't always feel that love by a brand, but if a brand's putting my needs first, it feels like someone's loving me, sliding on over or giving me the moment. Your moves are so raw, I've got to let you know. This is the path that I want to take you on. From prospect, where brands are like, ooh, let's sell, sell, sell. Shut up. We're not going to sell. We're going to build an audience. Shut up. We're not selling. We're building an audience. We're going to take them from prospect to raving fan by meeting their needs. That's what we do. And it all starts with being quiet. Yes, I love acronyms, so sue me. Quiet helps me remember how I get clients engaged in my workshops. First, we come up with 1,000 questions, like loads of ideas. And then we narrow them down to just a few ideas, like the ones that we can come up with the most amazing, imaginative idea ever that everyone's going to love, and we're going to be famous and win loads of awards, like putting your name Damien on a Coke bottle, like that kind of thing. Once you get it, you're just like, imagination. Then empathy, we go back and check what the brand stands for, what social media and listening are telling us, what people think of the brand, and we check those ideas to see how empathetic, how really connected with the people they are. And that, as a flow, from questions to imagination to empathy, equals the trust. And it just helps me because it actually spells quiet. Okay, here we go. Curiosity, it's a shit starter, but we got to rumble with the truth. We got to value the contrarian questions. Do you think any of you are strong-willed, ornery, bastard-like people that have such a strong view that none of your friends think you're right, but you know you are? Can any of you think of one thing that you're just like dead set on right about? If you can, did I get a volunteer? What was that? I couldn't hear that, but I want to talk with you in the pub afterwards about that because no one ever chimes up when I talk. That contrarian question is the question you get asked at when you interview with Google, and it leads to some amazing constant curiosity platforms. Try it. We can try it later, or we could even try it now. I love questions like this. Who's the best player in the world? Where would you put your cigarette butt? I'd put it on Messi any day of the week. Throw a ball at me if you would put it on Ronaldo. I dare you. See, no one likes Ronaldo. Here we go. Bad questions are obvious. They're like, oh my gosh, let's give people the right to go steal cars and see if the police catch them in 30 minutes or less, and if they don't, they get to keep the car. That was an actual show in Russia, and believe it or not, it got shut down because it led to more car thefts. Unbelievable. Good questions. Canadians, students like to drink, so all over Europe there are refrigerators that open with passports. That was properly 1,000 questions, led to some imaginative solutions, led to empathy for students, led to trusting, and Canadians flocking all over. Even Americans were flocking over, pretending they're Canadians, A, because of politics, and B, to get free beer. Now these are the tools I want you to actually write down. I want you to take a look at BuzzSumo, the question analyzer, because I genuinely believe if you start with asking a ton of questions before you get your next creative brief and keep going, question analyzer from BuzzSumo will help you. Not only that, we've got Answer the Public, which is a beautiful thing that puts it in a fancy Dan diagram that looks like a world exploding. And then we've got Imagination. This is what I go to. I go to Dave Burrs for Imagination because I think he's a really imaginative dude. Dave, can you come up on stage, please? Here he is. Oh, yeah, he's in the audience. Dave Burrs, can we give him a round of applause? I freaking love this guy. Seriously. So Creativity is our last weapon, Dave. In my mind, you stand for creativity, but you also stand for getting tons of ideas out there. Are you open for ideas?
Yes.
Okay, good. I thought you were, because Dave, you could have come up with let's do a tornado full of sharks, and people would have thought you were an idiot. And now it's on its 5th franchise. Anybody admit, throw a ball if you're a Sharknado fan? Not a single one. Sorry, dude. Okay, so what we're going to do with you. Dave Burrs invited me here, thanks to Slavika and some others. Dave, you said this on stage 2 years ago, almost to the day, if I'm doing my maths right. I want to know how many ideas, so I had a little thing. I want to know how many ideas do you need to come up with that big one, and that's one of those cliched questions. So instead of actually asking Dave and him slapping my not bald head, I decided to cover him with ideas. So I covered Dave with Post-it notes, and because I knew none of you would be Instagramming and tweeting, I'm going to give my books away to the person who comes up with the right number of Post-it notes that we stripped Dave down in Shoreditch the other day, and we covered his body with Post-it notes. So I want you to look at this good-looking man and hashtag Post-it Dave, and guess how many Post-it notes. I've got the number in my brain because of how many we did it last time. And I want to give away all of my swag to people who guess the right number. Dave, will you be willing for us at the after party to strip you down to just sense check our numbering?
It depends how far you plan to strip me down.
Why don't we leave your no, okay, well, we're gonna discuss that brief later. Thank you, Dave. Thank you so much. I'm going the wrong way. Literally, I hope some of you saw Dave, because he's an absolute legend. Now, if you do all this and you have the empathy, it's great, but don't go too far. If any of you've ever done VR and you're sitting there in the moment, in this other world, and all of a sudden someone pushes you, you will think the world ended. Because you think you're in the game, but you're not in the game. Someone pushes you, it's horrible. That's what it's like, doing a brand thing, not knowing who you're talking to, and just messing the hell up. Don't do that. I want you, if you remember one or two things, it's all about questions, imagination, empathy, and trust. And if we get this right tonight, if none of you will do call me on my cell phone with me, then we will twerk. We will twerk. Darko will twerk with me. Slavika will twerk with me. There may even be some twins here who will twerk with me. That is what will happen. The balls thing is fun. It actually means something. You know those You know those certain number of Post-it notes that we put on Dave? We had to, all the ideas in that brainstorm, we actually had to come up with, are they brave? Are they actionable? Do they get you to do something? Does it make you like the brand? Is it long-lasting in the memory where you're just thinking, am I going to forget about this, or is this going to be mind-blowing? I'm going to be telling my friends about it like they're putting your name on a Coke bottle. People haven't forgotten that. They seriously have not forgotten that campaign. I got one that had the name of my conference on the campaign from Slovenia. Got it with me. Now, for the interest of time, we're going to skip this because you've been an amazing audience, and I'm going to give you my final tips. And my final tips are basically, it's all of this constant curiosity starts with me looking. I do a Gameinar, which is like a game show version of a webinar. I would love for some of you to join me. So what I do is I take brands through the quiet methodology, and I look at their technology, I look at their content, and I look at their live experience. I'm doing that with Bath Rugby Club, several other brands at the moment, and I would love for some of you to play my game. I'll be putting cards up on the screen, and you can tell me what you think. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. And now I got my final tips for you guys, because you've been epic actually listening to me, and they are as follows. My final quiet tips. I hope you're ready. We just think about ourselves. My wife gets all paranoid about, oh my gosh, what if the school mom thought this? What? No one thinks about anybody but themselves. When we come up with our question list, let's think about that. Let's recognize that people only think about themselves. Let's also try to think, what could I do to really surprise that person and almost like give gifts? I love getting trophies. I would love to give out loads of trophies for anyone who's tweeted. Instead, I've got books and all kinds of rubbish, but be a gift giver. Be thinking in the giftology mindset, please. And then we move on to imagination. Just tinker and mix things like a DJ. Like take that idea of post-it noting Dave and come up with some idea for your brand that doesn't involve embarrassing nudity. And then put fun first. I think that's obvious because we're fun human beings. Find your angle of the story. No one has a story like you have your story. You're all your own personal brands. Find your own angle. And don't use Morgan. And find tech. You know there's lots of startups going around. I found a tech company to help me with real-time tweeting. Okie dokie, let me have all of the fans at a soccer match come in, and I can get all of them tweeting loads of stuff, and then I pick, that's good, that's rubbish, that's good, that's rubbish, and in real time I can tweet like mad during a live event. Thank you. Okie dokie. With our Del Boy thinking, guys, we've got to repurpose. We come up with an idea, let's come up with loads of other ideas. For example, this is an aggressive photo from Rocky. How do we turn that into a different emotion? Do you know? Exactly. Oh, beauty. That is just, that is just, I would love for someone to come up and, no, you don't need to do that to me. Timing's critical, guys. Don't ever wait. If you have an idea, try to get something out there now. Just get it out there. If it was yesterday, it's too late. Plan slow to create quick. You got to think through all the permutations. I mean, I had to think through whether Dave was going to regret me bringing him up on stage and stripping him down, but I planned slow, and I really did quick things there. My reading list, guys, thank you for listening. Contagious by Jonah Berger, Made to Stick by Chip and Dan Heath, Captivology about getting and keeping attention from Ben Parr. These are two of my people, Ann Hanley and Mark Schaefer. I can introduce you, they're lovely people. And Content Inc. by the guy that invented content marketing, Joe Polizzi. Thank you so much for putting up with my sweat. I would love to talk to you in the after party. Let's get some Post-it notes, post up Dave, have some fun. Thank you so much, because I am launching the Balkan Consultancy right fricking now.